back for round 1, game 2 of FNM TV's week of 6/17/2011. We have White Weenie, piloted by Adam Barker, against your host today, Pat Holland, me, Blue Black Control, trying out a deck list modified by myself, originally created by Reed Duke. I honestly really like it. Adam ended up taking the first game. Just Stoneforge crushed me completely. Can't really do very much, but here I'm on the play. Being up that 1 mana is very, very, very important, especially not winning that dice roll in the first game or having any black to be able to use my discard. Adam's going to send that back for a mulligan, and I'm more than happy to hear that. He may be on the draw, but 6 cards, 1 less than he would normally have. My discard becomes that much more efficient and much more profitable because of that mulligan. I may have less choices, but the choices that I do have are going to affect him a whole lot more. If you guys are playing anything involving black and you're running discard, what are your opinions on the 3 discard cards that are currently really affecting standard? Or a standard playable, I should say, with Duress, Despise, and Inquisition of Kozilek. What kind of combinations do you guys end up running? Personally, I feel a little bit more confident with 4 Inquisition and 2 Despise. Despise being an extremely key card to hit planeswalkers and creatures. Now without Stoneforge and Jace out there, you're really only looking to hit creatures. Now that aggro becomes so much more prevalent, you're going to see a lot more red decks come out, a lot more like white aggro. Although you do lose Stoneforge, you still have a lot of other key cards to run in there. So what do you guys run? So, turn 1, Dark Slick, shoot in. He only has 5 cards, take out his creature, Porcelain Legionnaire. I'm not worried about Journey to Nowhere. I can win without creatures. In fact, that's usually the game plan. So, draw over here. That's going to be, looks like, I don't even know what that is that I just drew into offhand. But Preordain. Oh, it's a Despise. So he drew Planeswalker, Elspeth, take that out. Perfectly honest, that was probably a bad play on my part, casting the discard at that point, because I had seen his hand the previous turn, and what I don't believe had an Elspeth in there. So, looking at it, I play that Drowned Catacombs tapped, Preordain, looking for it. I believe that's a Misty, because it's a foil land, and it's probably the only foil land other than that Dark Slick on the board that I have. Keep that in hand, put that on top. I already played my land for a turn, so it doesn't really matter if I put it on top of my deck or not. So Adam taps out 3, brings out sort of War and Peace. I'm more than happy to let him just have that on the board. It doesn't really affect anything until later on when he actually has creature presence, which I'm not going to let him have. So, camera's getting fixed here. I don't know what happened to it, but I believe someone bumped into it. We're kind of by a doorway when we're doing these productions, so Yu-Gi-Oh kids or just random bypassers end up hitting the table sometimes and knocking it off its tilt. So, 3 mana, keep it open. I have a mana leak in hand. Also have discard spells. Not really in the mood to use those discard spells and give them away. Wait till he has something more key or turning point in the game. So he's going to play Porcelain Legionnaire. I don't think I really care about it. However, I could. And I'm going to mana leak it just to keep it off the board because of that sword. So I hit 4 mana. I'm going to tap 4. And that's going to be a banned card soon. Jace the Mind Sculptor hits the board. And I'm going to brainstorm. Dig for some more answers to keep him off the board while that Jace gets going. Because really, when you're facing an aggro deck and they have no creatures left on the board, Jace can just go to town. He'll find you every answer that you need, usually. So if Adam had another land, I'd be a little bit worried. Putting 2 hawks on board is an issue when he has that sword, but with only 1 sword out and 1 bird, definitely not an issue. I'll wait for him to get these. Just a little tip for you guys that are playing, if you guys have been playing Squadron Hawk. When you're using Squadron Hawk, please don't put them down like Adam is right here, face down. Always when you're searching your deck, and it's a card that needs to be revealed off the search, put them into play face up. It's shady. Not saying that Adam's shady at all, but just it's a shady tactic to use when you're doing any library work. So see, he's going to reveal them here. However, you should be revealing it as you pick them out. So he's going to let me untap. I'm drawn to Dark Slick. Put my Dark Slick in tapped. I'm going to Fate Seal because I have an answer already in hand, being a Doomblade, and I believe a Disfigure. His top card's, I believe, a Journey. I think I'm just like letting him keep it as far as I'm aware of. I think that was one of the situations when I Fate Sealed. So it's a discard spell. Leonin Relic Warder, 3 hawks, and a Journey to Nowhere. Leonin Relic Warder, I can see why he kept it in his deck. It makes a whole lot of sense, especially when you're playing a mirror or against Callblade, or for that matter, almost anything in the format. You gotta remove it and keep it removed for as long as Leonin goes. So Adam's going to tap 2 planes, bring another hawk. I'm more than happy with that. He's going to equip that. And in response, I'm going to kill it. No reason not to. Swords on a bird is not fun. How does a bird hold a sword anyway? If you guys have watched Monty Python, I believe they ended up having a skit where a bird is flying with a coconut. How would one do that? They'd have to flap its arms like 1,000 beats a minute. I think it'd have to be like a hummingbird, but I digress. If you're a Monty Python fan, you already knew about it. So, Brainstorm with Jace. Looking at it, got a Doomblade. Looks to be some form of artifact, if not maybe Karn. And maybe a land, but I'm shuffling things up enough that I'm not going to be able to tell until my hands finally settles up. Darkslick Shores comes to the board tapped. Yeah, and that was a Karn in my hand. So I need one more land for that Karn to hit the board. I think Jace is just going to keep trying to get there with it. And I have a Doomblade, so that hawk is not going to hit me this turn. That's for sure. So, 2 hawks. He's going to end up equipping it to the hawk that can swing. I'm going to Doomblade. I gotta tell you guys, having those foil Doomblades is very, very nice. And there's that 7 for that Karn. And if I'm smart, I'm going to exile that sword. Yep. Give me that Sword of War piece. War? Huh. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Karn is so disgustingly good. If it wasn't 7 mana, he would literally be the best planeswalker in the format. And even at 7 mana, it's arguable that he is. Like, 7 mana isn't really that hard to attain. It will be now, I think, hitting 7 mana because of the aggro decks becoming more prevalent. But Karn is definitely a beating. So he's going to swing 1 damage to Karn. Karn's going to go down to 2. And I believe I just got to Steel Sabotage. Key side deck. Key side deck card. If you guys don't know about Steel Sabotage, you should. because it's a 1-mana counterspell for any artifact or bounce, and there's no reason not to run it in your sideboard if you're black-blue control at this point in time. There might actually be with this ban taking effect, but as of right now, when this was being played, I'm a huge fan of Steel Sabotage. And normally whenever I end up running Steel Sabotage on my sideboard, for some reason I always end up running up against a deck that at least runs Inkmoth and Nexuses. So putting them back a land drop is also pretty key. And getting rid of those pesky Infect Flyers that can end the game in 3-4 swings. If it's equipped with a sword, that is. But 10 turn clock otherwise. Not very frightening. Especially with Tech Edge in the format. Tech Edge is actually rotating out. I don't know what we're going to do without all those man lands from Zendikar. I've become so accustomed to running them. And Inkmoth is great by itself. He should probably be worth more than $10 that it is right now. But without all these man lands running around, I don't know how it's going to function. I was such a big fan of them. Creeping Tar Pit is so good. So I'm debating cracking that Verdant. I think I want to keep the Verdant in case I brainstorm. I can send 2 cards away. Put that on the bottom of the deck. Jace is just going to town. Karn does his best Liliana impression, I think. Or I'm just going to be a jerk and start taking planes. Yeah, I'm a jerk. Yep. I'm a jerk. Sorry, Adam. I don't get to play with Karn very often. Yep, just take more planes. I want to start the game over with planes. Crack that Verdant. Search it out. Planeswalker control. This is like super friends. I don't even know. Super villains? Was that what you would call it? Super villains. Liliana, Karn, and Jace. As opposed to a Johnny Vengeant, Elspeth, and was it Jace also in that one? I believe it was. So, Jace is a double agent. He just goes wherever. I don't really know what I'm thinking about. There's not too much I need to worry from him. I have this game pretty handily. So, draw for turn. Grave Titan, which is more lulls. And it just keeps constantly getting worse. That is a... Oh, Celestial Purge. Ouch. Yeah. Only had 2 cards in hand. He probably wouldn't have discarded it anyway. Jace Ultimate. That would have put it away. But, yeah. Revoke Existence and 2 Steel Sabotage. Fun stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that game. Go up 1-1. So it's all tied up. And we will continue on with Game 3 of White Weenie Blue Black Control. Please subscribe if you haven't. Again, I was asking you guys about the discard spells and discard suite that you're running if you're playing black. Write down in the comments. Otherwise, follow along to the next one, and we'll see you then.